Welcome to this ToolHound Learning Center video on workflows for transaction requisitions. Since no two businesses operate entirely the same way, we're going to build 3 different end-to-end requisition processes to leverage features in ToolHound, including the mobile app, notifications, and approvals. For step-by-step details on creating and picking requisitions, see the help documentation. This first workflow is mixed between the browser and the mobile app. Field users are creating requisitions on their phones using the mobile app with a shared login. A notification for created requisitions goes out to the Toolgroup counter user. The counter user reviews the requisitions before approving them, and then finally requisitions are picked by the counter user using their mobile device. Let's see how to put this all together. Josie logs into the mobile app using the shared field username. The associated role has limited options. She'll tap Requisition to start a new rec, and then tap Plus. She'll enter her entity ID in the Requested By field, and set a future required date by tapping on the date. Next, to select each part that will appear on the rec, she taps Cart at the bottom center of the screen. For each part number she wants to add to the requisition, she can either type the part number if she knows it, or use the lookup. Since pictures are attached to the part number, it makes selecting the correct piece of equipment quick and easy. Josie continues and selects the next part number to add to the requisition. Using the plus and minus, she can set the quantity. She'll add a comment about the pickup time by tapping Notes and entering her comments. Josie then returns to the cart and taps Save at the top right corner and confirms that she wants to generate the requisition. After exiting to the main requisition page, Josie can look up the requisition number she was issued to review the rec that she just created. When Josie saved the requisition, it triggered a notification email to be sent to the counter user. This specific notification has been set up to include the requisition number, the requester, and the required date. The counter user looks up the requisition number from the email and reviews the information on the rec. Reviewing the Details tab, an item is missing from this requisition that should be included. So he'll go ahead and add some grinding discs. He'll then save the changes that have been made to the requisition. Returning to the General tab, he'll check the Ready to Approve flag and save the requisition. It's automatically approved since we have no approval processes set up. Now that the requisition is approved, it's ready to pick. The counter user switches to his mobile device and moves around the warehouse to assemble the items on the requisition. On the Pick Requisition page, he can either select from the list or type in the requisition number. The general information is shown on the Home tab. Tapping Requested shows the details of the part numbers and quantities on the requisition. He proceeds to pick the consumable and bulk items, selecting the quantity for each part. He can also scan barcodes for any items on the requisition. When done, he taps Picked at the bottom of the screen and reviews the items before tapping Save at the top right to generate the transaction. Switching back to the browser, the counter user can look up the requisition number, review what was picked versus what was requested, and even view the details of the transaction that was generated when the requisition was picked. In this workflow, everything is done in the browser only. Carlos has a new crew starting tomorrow, and he's dropped by the tool crib to request some PPE. The counter user creates a new requisition, indicating Carlos is requesting the inventory and putting in a reference comment. On the Catalog tab, he'll select Include Images to view the pictures associated with the part numbers. The counter user navigates through the inventory using the categories. He then selects the part numbers and enters the quantities. Thanks to the pictures, Carlos can confirm exactly which type of glasses he would like. More parts are added to the requisition. Once everything is requested, they can review the selected items with the part numbers and the quantities before saving the requisition. Taking note of the requisition number, the counter user right away looks up the requisition and sets it to Ready to Approve and saves the rec, which automatically approves it. It's now ready to be picked. Later on in the day, when there's a quiet moment, the counter user picks the requisition in preparation for tomorrow morning. So he looks up the requisition number, and on the Details tab, he proceeds to pick each item and enter the quantity picked. Although Carlos requested a specific type of clear safety glasses, there are none on hand, so the counter user is going to substitute them with a different type of glasses. When scanning one of the serialized items for the requisition, there's a warning that Carlos doesn't have the required certification. The counter user chooses to ignore this message. Scanning the barcode for a fire extinguisher onto the requisition, there's a warning message that the service is overdue. The counter user removes item 1487 from the requisition and puts it to the side, and finds another fire extinguisher to add to the rec. The option to print a transaction receipt is selected, so when the requisition is saved and the issue transaction is generated, the transaction receipt can be printed and set with the inventory for when Carlos picks it up in the morning. This workflow is mixed with the conditional approval. You could say it has all the bells and whistles. Field users are creating requisitions on their phones using the mobile app. They have their own individual logins with limited permissions. Notifications are created and go to the toolcrib counter user. The toolcrib counter user reviews the requisitions and approves them where possible. High dollar value requisitions need an approval. A notification is sent to the approvers, and once approved, the counter user receives another notification that the requisition is ready to pick. And all requisitions are picked by the counter user on their mobile devices. Ross is working with the PM for the Champlain Bridge project. They need heavy equipment to arrive on site to start the next phase on time. Ross starts the new requisition and enters the entity ID for the project. It's been set up as a non-stocking location since the heavy equipment will be used by multiple people at the site. He then selects the job code for the Champlain Bridge project. This allows for reporting and costing across the entire project for items billed directly to the project and maintain accountability for individual tools and consumables. Moving to the cart after setting the required date, Ross builds out his requisition, searching for each type of equipment needed. Having pictures displayed along with the descriptions helps Ross choose the best vehicle for the site. Ross saves the rec when he has selected everything on his list. This triggers a notification email sent to the warehouse containing the rec number, requester, and the required date. At the warehouse, they look up the requisition in the browser, and after reviewing it, they set it to Ready to Approve. The dollar value of the requisition exceeds a certain amount, so it needs to be approved by one of two designated approvers. A notification email is sent to both approvers containing the requisition number. Winnie logs into the browser and looks up the requisition. After reviewing who is requesting the inventory and the list of inventory being requested, she flags the document as approved and saves the change. The approval triggers another email to the warehouse indicating that the requisition is now ready to pick. Using the mobile device, they're able to move around the yard picking the requisition. A message shows the vehicle is overdue for its weekly inspection. Another alerts to a missing certification as the warehouse is flagged anyone taking a vehicle must have a valid license. Since this is being issued to the site, this doesn't apply. All items picked against the requisition can be reviewed on the Picked tab before saving and generating the issue transaction. They can then review all inventory currently issued directly to the Champlain Bridge project. Let's review what we've learned so far. Create requisitions for either entity type, either personnel or non-stocking locations. Add pictures to part numbers to increase efficiency and reduce frustration. These pictures can be displayed in the parts catalog to help quickly identify the most suitable tools and equipment. Requisition processes can be simple or complex using notifications and conditional approvals, so I encourage you to consult the support team to help design the workflows best suited to your organization. Thanks for watching this video from the ToolHound Learning Center. For any questions, contact our support team, and remember, subscribe and hit the notification bell.